Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back with another Bkfc Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're joined by Honkey Kong himself, Raymond Pell. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you doing today, my man?
Great. So the major question everybody on the Reddit wanted to know is Honky Kong. Where does a guy get a name Honky Kong?
It started out as my Instagram handle like a while ago, and I went through a couple of fight names, and we kind of just all decided on Honkey Kong. Everybody liked it, and it was kind of catchy, so that's what we went with.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if it was like you liked the video game or like you were strong like a gorilla type of thing and you're
No,
a white
no, I
guy
was
or
just, that's what it is. I was super strong. I used to be a lot more jacked than I am now. I've kind of cut down for fighting, but I used to be like over 200 pounds and like super jacked. So that's kind of where it came from. And then, it just stuck.
it's kind of interesting because you see the photos that BKFC has of you and your face. You look way more full. When you popped on, I was like, this guy looks like he's been slimming down. And you're fighting. When you first started fighting, at what weight did you fight at? And I believe your fight coming up is at 155, correct?
It's at actually at 165. I usually fight at 155,
Okay.
but, they asked me to take, if I would take 65, that, my opponent wasn't really, I guess, I don't know if he can make 155 or he just didn't want to make 155 maybe. I don't know. But I was okay with it.
He looks like he's got a lot of muscle, and that doesn't translate to
Right.
money.
Right.
So that's one of those catch 22s. You were a bigger guy. When you have all those muscles, that takes a lot of blood and a lot of oxygen to keep. So like, do you feel do you feel your cardio is going to be able to outlast his during this fight, or do
Oh,
you not see?
100%. My cardio is tenfolds compared to what it was when I was like super jacked. And I mean, like right now, I'm still pretty good size. I walk around at like 185, 190, and I cut to 55. But that's
Wow.
why I was
Okay.
okay with the 65 deal. But
Okay.
my cardio is great. I run like every other day. I'm running like 5 miles, 4.5 miles, and then after training, I've been doing sprints up the bridge. So I did that for 20 minutes after training earlier. So like my cardio is pretty good.
Are you one of those guys that's got like the natural power? Like, you know what? I'm going to be honest. I saw you fight in another promotion, and when I heard you were coming to this one, I was really excited. And your last fight, we didn't get to see a whole lot. Uh, I mean, can you tell people who maybe haven't seen you fight in other promotions what to expect? And like, you're a power guy. You're planning out last this guy. What's going on?
I do have some power, and I've come to find in bare knuckle that you use your power when you need to use your power. Because if you try to use it the whole time, you're gonna break your hand. And I've come to be more of a calculated fighter now. So that's what to expect out of me is to I'm gonna pick my shots and try to kind of fluster him into me like tagging him and then winning the fight. Or if it goes to decision, me definitely outpointing him.
So his last fight against Wanya, it was kind of like they were both kind of calculated. It seemed like neither one really wanted to take the risk. Are a risk taker? Are you looking? I mean, clearly you're going to have like the size advantage and the reach advantage. Do you look at just like staying out of his range and kind of picking him apart, or what's your? I guess you don't want to give me your whole game plan, but can you tell us like what we
Well,
can?
so from what I've gathered on him, I do want to use my boxing skills, and I also can use my wrestling and jujitsu skills because he likes to clinch, and I clinch differently than other guys. Like I kind of use like my wrestling background and stuff, so I'm able to almost like whizzer in a way. And I don't really want to be in that position, but if I get in that position, I've trained for it. So, um, I think it would be better to try to just box with him and, kind of use my length and everything. And if it gets to that, then, do what I trained for.
Okay, so I know you're training with the BK cheat code right now, Mr. Perez. Have you been with him for a while? Like, I don't know much of your backstory, if I'm honest.
Okay, so I've known Ryan for a good little bit now, and he started managing me recently. So
Okay,
we are now working together. I don't live close to him, so I have to travel to train with him. So I train in a gym up here as well,
okay,
and and then like every Saturday I try to go over to Fusion XL and spar with all those guys because they have an open sparring,
okay.
pro and amateur. So I'll go over there and get good rounds in with all their pro guys, and they have like fucking beasts on the mat at all times.
He does have quite the stable of fighters. He's such a polarizing figure. Like, what drew you to the cheat code?
To be honest with you, he's like the plug, I feel like. And a lot of people told me that prior. And even my last manager, I'm still friends with him and everything, but
Okay,
in order for me to like start getting more fights and get in like boxing matches and stuff like that, it would be um more to my interest to go with Ryan. So that's kind of why I picked with Ryan, and he's been nothing but good to me and literally has tried to get me fight after fight. Unfortunately, the last fight that he got me got canceled due to the hurricane that hit in Houston because it was in
right.
Texas.
Okay.
And then we couldn't schedule anything, obviously, till BKFC's over now. So, I just figured I would focus on that. So I'm kind of like going through a double camp anyways. Like I was already getting ready for one fight and then was going to like take a week off, get ready for this one, but I just transformed right into camp.
So is your goal right now to be as active as possible and do boxing and MMA and bare knuckle, or is there anything you're trying to focus? Like, what's your goals for the your combat career?
So I really do like the bare knuckle. I want to stick with the bare knuckle, and I
Okay.
would like to box in between because I've noticed that there's so many guys on the roster that it's not going to be like you're going to get a bare knuckle fight like every other month. You know what I'm saying? It might be a few
Absolutely.
month gap or something. So in the in between times, then I'd like to box MMA. If I do it, I'm gonna have to do it like do a camp for it because I've been training like strictly boxing. I still
Okay.
roll and do jiu-jitsu for cardio,
Yeah.
but kickboxing I really don't care for. So um if I did do MMA, would have to do a camp, but honestly, they don't really pay that well. So I'm kind of steering more towards the boxing and bare knuckle routes.
Awesome. All right. So I know your family is really important to you. Does your child do they come to you? Do they go to the fights? Do they go to the gym with you? Like you have one child or
I just have one daughter,
okay,
and me and her mother aren't together, so like I have like split custody and stuff, and she
got it.
does come to the gyms with me. And I haven't taken her to the fights yet because she's still a toddler and
Oh,
she's kind of
okay.
wild. So I want to wait till she's a little bit older. And plus, they're like BKFC, it gets a little bloody and stuff, so I don't want her to
Sure.
get like, scared in person or anything like that. She is a little girl still.
Does she like to hit pads or anything? I remember when my kid was growing up,
Yes.
I loved to like have him hit hands and stuff.
She does. She'll hit pads with me. She loves to hit the bag. Like when I go to the gym and I have her, like I'll just take her with me and she'll literally like while I'm working, she'll like yesterday we went to the gym and she was hitting the bag and stuff. And then when she gets bored with it, she'll like
Sure.
play with her toys or play with her tablet. But she does run around the gym and do a bunch of stuff. So
It's cool that like you can connect with that, and then like you said, she's still in a safer environment. Like it's padded everywhere, so she's not gonna fall down and hurt herself.
right.
So
Exactly. And she can like play gymnastics and do whatever she wants in the meantime. So I just let her play and you know let her do her thing. If she's got to go to the potty, I'll take her to the potty and get back to training.
so you look like you got a little bit of that country boy in you. Are you a hunter? Are you a fisher? You like trucks? You like guns? Can you tell us some of your backstory
I
with that stuff?
I do. I like to hunt and fish. I've been doing it my whole life. I grew up in the country, so I've been hunting and fishing my whole life. I like trucks. I like guns. I'm kind of a gun enthusiast,
Okay.
and I like to blow shit up and like shoot things. I obviously love to shoot deer, but
Yeah.
yeah, I do like guns a lot.
You're not on any watch list, are you? You know,
No,
when
no,
you
no.
said you're an enthusiast, it seems like all you have to be is an enthusiast, and suddenly you're on a watch list. So
I mean, who knows? I might be like I know like they take I get in trouble on Facebook and shit often for like my posts and stuff like that. I know Instagram they took my little check thing away because I was posting like recklessly, I guess. I don't know.
uh,
I got too many community standards or some shit.
there's nothing better on Facebook than when you reshare something and you get a Facebook ban for resharing something because it's like I didn't post it. You should fucking give the guy a ban who posted the original
Right,
thing.
right. I think they pick and choose. Maybe we are on a watch list.
Maybe we are. Okay, so hunting. Like, let's talk about that. I love hunting too. So you said deer hunting. Is there any other hunting or just mostly deer? Do you do it with a rifle, bow? Like,
Okay, so I'll do both. I'd rather shoot it with my gun. I mean,
okay,
archery's fun, bow hunting's fun and all, but literally like every time I've ever shot a deer with a bow, like even with a good shot, I've had to find it. So,
Sure.
um, when I shoot it with my 7 millimeter, that bitch does not move. It hits the ground on spot, and I just got to go pick it up. So, I really like hunting with that. Was my favorite gun to hunt with, really. And then, I've done a lot of hog hunting too, but like
Oh,
we hog
okay.
hunt with dogs. So like we'll
Sure.
let like the
Hog
bay
dogging,
dogs
yeah.
run them, right, and then let the catch dog come in and catch them or whatnot. And that's something I enjoy too. It's pretty fun.
Have you talked to the Cutman about it? I found out the G is like a huge hog dogger. Like he loves to go. Like he has the
I did
dogs and
not
he
know
does
that.
it. Yeah,
I
I
had
found out
not.
about that. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask him about that. That's pretty cool.
So
He's a
I
cool
did.
dude too.
Yeah, I did it in Texas, and we used Dogo Argentinos. And little Serge told me, he goes, ask him about it. He goes, he's a crazy guy. He goes through the swamp chasing these dogs. And I asked him, and he's like, oh yeah, Dogo Argentinos are the best, and Bay Dog. He knows everything about hog dog, and it's great.
No, he's definitely right. They're good. A lot of people like to use pit bulls and shit too, but
Sure.
those dogs, those dojos are actually like really good hunting dogs, and they're really like athletic per se. So, and they're not like a pit bull like will get almost like too focused on something to
Sure.
where the other dog's a little bit smarter, I think.
Yo, what's up, everyone? We're back. I had a power surge, but we're back with the Honky Kong again. Okay, so anyway, I was saying that I wanted to. I was hoping that the card was going to be in Wichita. I love to go catfish noodling in Wichita. I have some buddies, and we go catfish noodling. And then when it's in Kansas City, it's still like it's an extra 4 hours, and I wasn't gonna be able to make it work. So like I'm not, I was kind of bummed. Fishing. What kind of fishing do you like to do? Like I love bow fishing too. That's a big thing I like.
Both fishing's cool. My favorite fishing, honestly, is bass fishing.
Okay,
It's fun because you have to work for it, and I mean, I like all the like other fishing too. I like to go fish in the river. Sorry, excuse me, but I like to go
sure.
fish in the river because you get good catches. Plus, like you can eat all those like fish. They're really good to eat. Like trout's really good. Snook's
Yeah.
really good. Redfish are good when they're smaller. I don't like to eat them big. And then obviously, if I go like deep sea fishing, like anything we catch out there, snapper stuff like that, they're all good eating as well. But I really do like the bass fish because it's fun. It's funny because I've been talking to this girl and like we went out on my birthday and we were talking about fishing and it was like she caught my attention fully when she was talking about artificial baits. I was like, dude, I don't think I've ever talked to a girl that knows about artificial baits. All right, bet.
So it's interesting when I met my wife, she wasn't into hunting at all, and like now she shot a deer. She's got a bear tag for this year, so it's kind of interesting. Like some people just need that like the little like push to get over it, but it sounded like she was already into fishing, so you might have found the keeper, right?
Yeah, she's a country girl and she's really cute too. So um I'm excited about her. She's cool.
Okay, so after this upcoming fight, do you plan on going back to 55? Is 65 a good weight class for you? Like, what would your plans be?
55 all day. I'd rather make it. I got it calculated out to where like I walk around 85, 90, I can make 55 and get back to weight and then I feel good. Um so like at 65 obviously I'll be able to pack some weight back on, but I just feel a little bit more bigger and dominant at 55. So that would be my plan, most definitely.
Was there any issues going into your last fight, or is it just one of those things, bare knuckle, and you got caught?
No, so I had a huge issue going into my last fight,
Okay,
and I didn't want to pull out of the fight. I didn't know what had happened to my shoulder at the time, and like before the fight even happened, like Feldman had came in and he's like, don't post anything about injuries until you know exactly what's going on. So I didn't really want to like talk about it like right then and there or anything, but like I'd I'd had a tear in my labrum, but like I didn't know that, so I just got a cortisone shot going
okay,
into the fight,
sure.
and like 15 seconds into the fight, like obviously like me and Rohan like literally like dog fought right off the rip, and we clinched with each other, and when we did, I clinched him and started uppercutting him, and when I did, I kind of uppercutted my own shoulder out of socket.
Okay.
And like, so I kept, I was gonna continue fighting. And like, at first I slipped in, there was like some bucked up, I'm assuming it was bucked up on the ground. Like, it was
Right.
like super slippery. And I noticed the dudes before me were like pouring shit in their hair or whatever. So like, I had slipped like clearly, and I got back up and we started to like get into an exchange again. And I was noticing that left hand wasn't really coming like past my chest. Like it was getting almost locked and stuck. So I
Sure.
was like eating punches. And then I slipped in the same puddle again, but like on my back foot this time. So like I landed on my ass and I was like, what the fuck? So
Okay.
like when I got up, I knew I was fucked up. I knew my shoulder was fucked up. So like if I'm sure if you watch the fight, you see me use the ropes. Like I put my arms on the ropes to like stretch my shoulder out.
Okay.
And I was talking to Andy, the ref, and I told him my shoulder was fucked up, and he was like, "Yeah, it's wise to just stop the fight instead of continue." So, um, that's pretty much what happened. I mean, Rohan was catching me though. I
Sure.
did eat a few punches, but it comes with the game.
Yeah, I was curious because, like I said, I had seen you fight somewhere else, and I was like, it didn't look like you, and that's why I wanted to know because, like I said, some people just have an off night, and but I'm glad you were able to clear that up. Did you have to have surgery? Was it one of those things like physical
No,
therapy?
I, it was more of a physical therapy type deal. I got it popped back into place, and then me and my doctor came up with some methods, and like we got it to heal. And now that it's healed, like I took a couple months off of like training where I didn't do shit, and it was
Okay.
super depressing. I
Yeah.
did not like it at all. I didn't lift for like the last 8 months. I just started lifting again like 2 months ago. So like I meant like 8 months before that I didn't lift. And which was good though because like I didn't lose like a crazy amount of strength like I thought I would have. And like I got under there and started pressing 300 pounds. So I was like, all right, like obviously after I warmed up and shit, but I was able to still hit 300 after all that time off. So I was like, okay, if I can do that, I can obviously just continue to grow from
What made you get into like? I mean, did you play any other sports? Like, what got you into combat sports?
there. So I raced dirt bikes when I was younger. I played football too, and what happened was so like I tried to wrestle in high school and I failed algebra, so I was not able to like compete, and
Sure.
I just said fuck it. And I started going to the adult like jujitsu and MMA gym,
Okay.
and I just started training there, and I started doing like Naga tournaments, and I started winning. And like
Oh, nice.
I've never done a jujitsu tournament and not got a medal besides ADCC before my
Okay.
last Valor fight, because like I
Wow.
really wasn't trying to get injured before the fight. So
Right.
some dude tried to like break my ankle, and I was like, all right, yeah, fuck this, and I tapped. But um, yeah. So other than that, I've always got a medal in my jujitsu tournaments. So like that was kind of where it all started, and then it progressed from there. Then I got better at striking, and then I started like realizing that my striking was pretty good too. And at first I never like really was gonna go the boxing route. I was gonna stay doing MMA and everything. And like one of my previous coaches, they were like, "Oh, I don't think you'll make it in boxing," and that kind of detoured me a little
That
bit. So I
sucks.
was like,
Yeah.
fucking maybe I'll just keep the MMA. But then after I left there, I started, boxing a little bit, winning boxing fights, and I was like, well, shit, okay. Then one of my buddies did a bare knuckle fight, and he lost it and still made really good money. And I was like, wait, you made that much fucking money in that fight? And he was like, yeah. He's like, way more than MMA. And I was like, shit, I'm going that route, like
Right.
100%. And people are like, you're fucking crazy. I was like, yeah, okay, like, call me crazy. I'm gonna get paid. I don't really give a fuck. Like, I'm going out there and I'm doing what I love, and I'm actually not taking 100 fights to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Like I can actually
Absolutely.
climb the ladder now, and they give you. That's what I like about bare knuckles. They do give you a good opportunity. And if you do lose, as long as you come to fight and you fight every time, they still love you. You know what I'm saying? So that's
Absolutely.
that's a good thing too. I like that about it. But obviously nobody likes to take losses, like, and I'm always going to win for sure.
I do like that about like Chris and Dave. They say that like, look, we don't care if you take a loss. We just want you to show up and compete, and you got to respect that because like otherwise you have you guys playing careful playing not to lose. Like a lot of MMA now has become fight not to lose, and it's gotten so boring.
It does. It does. And sometimes when people start to do the point fighting deal, and it happens in boxing too. But bare knuckles really not a point fighting deal. Like it's one of those things that you want to kind of it's gritty. Like, and
Yeah,
some people once they start getting tagged cannot take that shit for long. Like, and I've seen a lot of guys drop immediately. They'll get punched like in the nose or something. Like fuck, this wasn't what I was expecting,
right.
and be done. But and it happens. I mean, like you can just. I mean, it's easier to break your orbitals and shit too in bare knuckle,
Sure.
especially at a heavier weight class. That's why, like, if I was at a heavy weight, I probably wouldn't do it because I got to give it hats off to those guys. Like, one punch could break their whole fucking face.
Absolutely. Okay, so my last fight, I always ask people, do you remember the first time you were in a street fight, be it elementary school or later on in life? Do you remember, do you have a memorable street fight, or do you remember the first time you were in a street fight?
There's been so many of them,
You
but
look like the guy, but I assume you have a good one, though.
elementary school, I got in some. I would say my most memorable fight was like it was actually a huge fucking fight. It was at a party. Like the dude showed up to our spot and tried to charge us for a keg, and there was literally like in my mind, like I was looking at all these people because there was like literally probably 60 people, and there was like 15 of us, and I was like, dude, we're gonna get fucked up when we go to fight these guys. Like, there's no way. But like we did like some guerrilla warfare shit, and like as like the shit started to break out, like everybody kind of like took a position, and when they started to like get loud and everything, like the dude like ran right into like one of our like bigger dudes and like fucking he just knocked him out right off the rip, and that started the fight, and it was like we ended up cleaning that whole place out, and it was like I was only 15 years old, I was in high school, and like all my buddies were like in their 20s and shit. So I'm
Okay.
sitting there like fighting grown ass men, knocking these fuckers out. And then I'll never forget the last, like there was like one kid sitting in the back of the truck, and he's like, I'm 16, you guys are cowards, you can't do shit to me. And I was like, bitch, I'm 15, and fucking blasted him. And when I did, he like, it was in an S10, and when he fell out, like his leg got stuck in the, underneath the toolbox, and that bitch broke, like you could hear it
Oh,
snap. And his buddy drove off with him hanging out of the fucking truck, dude. So I was like, damn, that's fucked up. But that's probably my most memorable like street fight for sure.
oh my
Oh,
gosh.
and to top the thing off, to start it off, like they started beating on this dude's truck, and when he like his little brother crawled out the back window and picked up a big ass cast net, started swinging it and hitting people with it with the weights, and that's like what like really led the fight to start off. So it was definitely a crazy night. And the dude ran over like 10 guys on a four wheeler. That was I forgot about that. He drove right through the middle of that shit.
Isn't it
It was a
crazy all the details you remember, like from like something like that, like it's, and I'm gonna say it's traumatic, but it wasn't, clearly wasn't traumatic, but it just, it gets ingrained, and then you're like, you can just recall like the craziest shit.
yeah, and we got the keg by the way. We took that bitch, and
Attaboy. Yeah.
yeah, no, they weren't getting away with that fucking thing. But oh, and then there was another crazy moment. So after that dude ran into my buddy and he dropped him, like he got in some mountain, was like beating his ass, and then like all his buddies were trying to jump him. So that's when we started like clearing it out.
Okay.
And he was so pissed off from being like kicked and shit on the ground that he like picked the dude up like Rampage and slammed him through this Mercedes windshield. And the chick inside it was like, "This was my graduation present." He's like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, in Florida, you get one free windshield. Go to the fucking dealership and get it. And this dude's like laying through her fucking windshield, dude. I was like, oh my god, that's ridiculous. But yeah, that was like one of the most memorable fights in my life.
That one would stick out to me. All right. Well, we're really looking forward to watching you again. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out, sponsors, friends, anything you want to, a message
I
you want to give?
would, I will give like all my sponsors a shout out. I got a handful of them,
Go
so
for it.
I definitely, I'll shout. I want to shout out Ryan at Slaughterhouse 100%. I want to shout out Bkfc for giving me the opportunity, obviously. I have a bunch of local sponsors here, like Grapple Inc., Busy Bee Roofing. Um, I have Small Improvements. I have, who else do I got here? There's a few more of them. They're all like coming in right now, like to like schedule with me or
Sure.
whatever. But like my biggest ones that support me are like the Grapple Inc. They've been there since the beginning. I
Okay.
got to give a big shout out to HKA too and
Oh yeah,
No
absolutely.
Quarter Combatives. I'm
Sure.
sure if you know Nate, he's from Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really good dude, and those guys take like really really good care of me. They always send me gear. They
Awesome.
always make sure that like my fight shorts are made and shit, and they press all my sponsors on there. But but yeah, all my sponsors, and if there was a couple that I didn't mention, I'm sorry, but yeah, I have a whole list of you guys. So I do appreciate every one of you guys and all my training partners and my coaches too, and the gyms that let me come train with them, like Fusion, obviously, and let me come get knowledge with all their killers over there. So I would love to shout out all them as well.
Awesome. Well, it's not official yet, but it sounds like I might have a fighter that'll be on your card, so I might be there. So hopefully, I get to meet you in person, and we can talk about some more of your crazy fight stories. But thank you so much
Hell
for your
yeah.
time. Like, I can't wait to watch you again, and hopefully, we get to chat again soon.
Yes, sir. Well, you have a good night. I
You too.
appreciate you having me on.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
All right, later, brother.